For more, we're joined right now by former Republican congressman and the host of the White Flag podcast, Joe Walsh. Thanks, Joe, for being with us. A lot happening in Arizona, as we were just talking about. Congressman Andy Biggs, too, announcing last night he plans to challenge Congressman Kevin McCarthy to be the top Republican in the House. And do you expect that others will throw their hat in the ring for that position? How likely is it that McCarthy could be ousted?
Good to be with you. I still think it's really likely that McCarthy will be the Republican pick to be Speaker. I think, look, I've been in that room. I think things will get ugly and nasty and pretty contentious in that room. Biggs is in. There may be another one in challenging McCarthy as well. But at the end of the day, McCarthy has the support of Donald Trump. And Donald Trump wants Kevin McCarthy to be Speaker. I think Republicans will line up behind him. Look, becoming Speaker is going to be a really difficult job because they're going to have a super slim majority. And if Kevin McCarthy is Speaker, Marjorie Taylor Greene, in essence, will be the Speaker as well.
Why is longtime Senate GOP leader Mitch McConnell, who often is in the role of an alliance builder, why is he suddenly being challenged even more?
Well, I think because the Trumpist wing of the Republican Party, and it's no longer a wing, this is still Trump's party. It's the party of Trumpism. They need someone to blame for what happened last week. They can't blame Donald Trump. They can't blame any of the conservatives. So look, Democrats will pick up a seat probably in the Senate. They're not going to lose control. So somebody's got to take the fall for that. So Mitch McConnell is the perfect fall guy. I actually think McConnell will be in a battle to still head the Senate caucus and the Republican caucus in the Senate. Conservatives are really upset with him. Trump is.
And on the flip side, Nancy Pelosi saying her party is considering taking a different approach when it comes to leadership, asking her if she'll take on a different role. She says that she'll decide based on her family and based on her colleagues, but will there be a Pelosi camp and then the other Democrats camp? And is there a risk of this party splitting, both parties essentially splitting?
It's a great point. I think there will be a lot of contention and splitting going on in both parties, but to be real, Nancy Pelosi really saved the Democrats this midterm. If the Republicans get control, and they probably will, it will be by a very slim majority. So the Democrats dramatically exceeded expectations. Most Democrats in that Democratic caucus would like to move on from Pelosi and that generation, but she's in a pretty strong position now, I think, if she wants to stick around for another 2 years, because she can argue, look, we have a great opportunity to take back control in 2024.
Mm-hmm. And if Republicans do win control of the House, what do you believe is top of the agenda?
I still believe generally top of the agenda is to investigate and to look to impeach certain people. McCarthy, I believe, will become Speaker, but he will be beholden to his crazy wing, the Marjorie Taylor Greenes of the world. And they're demanding scalps. They want revenge for how they believe Donald Trump was treated these last 4 years of his presidency. So I think you're going to see one heck of a lot of investigate, investigate, investigate.
All right. Now, obviously, there are a number of people who have that word coursing through their mind constantly. Some drama there. Joe Walsh, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.